Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is Kamian, and in today's video we're looking at a segmented clip of a much longer clip that I posted a few weeks ago overviewing a discussion I had with my sister. In today's video specifically, we are looking at empathy and sympathy, two very important words, two very important concepts, and two very important ideas to kind of wrap your head around, though it's really tough. We do our best, or at least I, did my best to summarize kind of the ideas that me and my sister formed about empathy and sympathy, and kind of tried to give you a bit of a framework to understand these very complex, very difficult words, and hopefully give you a better understanding of them so you can apply them in your own life. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the video.
Hey, what's up, guys? So I just got done with my journal. Honestly, I am so tired. It's 2 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night right now, but I had way too many amazing, honestly, epiphanies tonight that I literally I can't not share with you. I literally did my journal tonight, and it's like 4 pages long, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and we got a diagram over here. So normally my journals are like 1 page, maybe 2. I think I've had 1 3-er before. So tonight we had a lot of good stuff. So like basically, the long and the short of it is I was supposed to have dinner, like Shabbat dinner, with my sister, her family, and my nieces and nephew, like my brother-in-law and my other sister. That was the plan, and literally as we were driving to go to my sister, which is about an hour drive, about 5 minutes in, I started hearing like on the road. Long story short, something like fell out from my car. It was the base plate that protected my engine. I needed to get a tow, and we ended up waiting there for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, all in all. And so obviously, we didn't end up going to dinner like we had planned. The interesting thing though was before we had plans for me and my sister to go to our other sister for dinner, I just messaged my sister for us two to do dinner tonight. And so actually like that's ended up what happened, and it was unbelievably, like, in my opinion, like God influenced, like Hashem made this happen, and you'll soon understand why. So eventually we had a lovely evening. Like we drove back to her house. We ended up getting some Thai food because we love Asian food, and we were going to watch some Formula One later on, and it was really nice. And on the way over to getting Thai food, we called our mom, and we were both just kind of bitching about work. After sitting down to dinner and everything, we were like, my sister asked me, she was like, "So Kay, I'm like, what can you tell me?" Like, she's like, "Okay, like no more negative stuff. Like, what's a positive thing that happened to you tonight?" Or I'm sorry, this week. I literally sat there for maybe 10 to 15 seconds, 20 seconds of just pure silence. And she's like, "Well, that's not a pretty good sign." And I went through so many negative things. The first 15, 20 thoughts that came into my head were all negative. And finally, I said, "Oh, you know what? I got an amazing compliment today. Someone that I had met for the first time on July 4th. I knew him for 2.5 days with this group of 10 or so that I went on a 4th of July trip with. This guy, great dude, like really genuinely this incredible person. He said in front of everyone who, also had only met me for 2.5 days. This is a group that has been hanging out for months and months and months. He was like, I really miss Kamian. And he says, my buddy Max, who I've known for a couple of years. Max is the one person I've known for multiple years, and he's the, binder to these people. He's the connector. And he's like, "Oh my god, dude, I also miss Kamian." And, he texted me that, and it was just so nice, the fact that this person who I knew for a little bit more than 48 hours, felt like that group that he was a part of was missing something, or that he just wanted to hang out with me specifically after only knowing me for a little bit more than 2 days, that's really special. It's really incredible, and it was just unbelievably nice to hear. It was a really big compliment to me, and that's what I shared with my sister. The other thing that I shared was, and basically, we're talking about some introspective things, and this person basically said, I always appreciate that, you come and talk with me with, dude, like, I was talking with my therapist. I don't like to say it. It's good for me to say it, but I was talking with my therapist. Like, the stigma's dumb. So I was talking with my therapist. I've been seeing him for a little bit over 6 months now, and we were talking about stuff, and I was like talking about some things that I had like thought about through the week after watching some TED talks and stuff. And he was like, dude, I just want to say, like, it always makes me so gleeful and happy that you come to these sessions with such like well thought out introspective ideas. And like, I literally teared up when he told me that, because I thought to myself, like, I do get very introspective. I do get very deep. I do analyze things very, very deeply. And I'm like, does everybody do this? Is this just a Kamian thing? Is this like a skill? Is this something that I have that not everyone does have? And so, like, that was a little bit of confirmation for me that, like, I'm not saying no one thinks in depth, but, the fact that what I was thinking in depth, even to a trained psychologist, was well thought out and introspective, and I was coming to these profound or relatively profound conclusions on my own. And that really was just like gratifying and nice to hear, because for me, like, I would love to eventually be able to coach people, mentor people, give it guidance, whether it be in business, to people as a service, or just like I said, as coaching, life coaching, what mentoring, whatever it may be. Like, I just want to be able to help people. And I always wondered, like, are the things that I think about, like, that valid? Are they that real? Are they that worthwhile? Like, are they that well developed? And you know what? I think that this proved today that, like, at the very least, my ideas are at least somewhat well developed, and that really made me feel good. And so my sister agreed on, like, that feeling, and she was saying, like, she thinks it's because that I'm very empathetic. I'm able to empathize with people. And so we got into this really great train of thought, and just like the rest of the night, it's kind of like where this kind of exploded, because we just thought about so many good ideas, and you'll hear about them in a minute. So what we talked about with empathy specifically, and we kind of went back and forth, about what we thought empathy was, kind of how it related to sympathy, because those are always kind of intermixed. And what our conclusion was is that empathy is trying to understand the other person that you're talking to in the journey that they are on, right? So they have a feeling, right? There's a core feeling. There's a core feeling over here, whatever. The empathy is trying to understand the journey that someone is trying to go on to arrive, that they arrived at that feeling, right? So trying to understand the journey part of the feeling that they were having. Sympathy is understanding that core feeling in and of itself, right? I am feeling upset. I am feeling happy. I am feeling grateful. Understanding that feeling that person is having is sympathy. Whereas the empathy is, I had an amazing time hanging out with my friends and family today at a barbecue, and I am feeling grateful. So understanding the journey of that person being with loved ones that he truly cares about, or they care about, the fact that they are around people who bring them joy and love and comfort, is something that they appreciate. That is the empathy part of understanding the feeling of the gratitude that they are feeling that day. So I thought that was just a really interesting and great thought, and I'd never thought about empathy and sympathy in that way. I'm not saying it's the only way to describe these two words. It's just a way that we came up with together, that I personally, it felt very good to me. It felt like a way that I could grasp those two, interrelated yet separate ideas together. And if you have other ideas, I would love to hear about it. Please share it. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on it. So the other thing I just want to say about that is, it's not very often that you can talk about, like, such in-depth psychological, like, abstract ideas, and just like the idea, just being able to do that with somebody, to bounce ideas back and forth, was really, really cool. To come up with a conclusion that wasn't a black and white answer, like X didn't equal like 5, like 1 plus 1 equals 2, like that's factual, but we were able to come up with a mutual agreement on the empathy and the sympathy definition, kind of intermingled relationship, but
that's not to say that that's the only way to describe it in the world. There's plenty of other ways. Like I said, please share with me. I'd love to know what you think about empathy and sympathy, just, in that relationship, and what your definition is, because our definition is not necessarily yours, and that's the beauty of it. So after Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please let us know. If you wouldn't mind, leave a comment. Would love to hear what your thoughts are. What did you think? Did you enjoy? What was your favorite part? Would love to be able to hear what you're thinking and to be able to interact with you in the comment section as well. Give us a like, give us a subscribe if you're enjoying the content so we know to make more of it in the future. Really appreciate you stopping in. Hope you got some very valuable information and you took something very profound, hopefully, from this video, and just really appreciate you being here. All the best, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.